Do we need another glow plugin? Apparently yes. I have the same 3G recipe as many of you. When a shot is finished, I add grade, grain, and glow. It's basically seasoning for motion designers. Now, over the years, I've relied on plenty of third-party tools to get the glow I wanted, and there are some excellent options out there. But now there's a new contender from Element Supply Co., and its shocking name is Element Glow. So, is this the glow we've been waiting for, or just another bright object distracting us from our deadlines? Stick around and I'll give you my honest opinion. Now first, a quick disclosure, the plugin was created by my good friend Mikey Borup, who was kind enough to include me in the beta, so yes, I got it for free. That said, this video isn't sponsored, nobody told me what to say, what to show, or how excited my eyebrows should be. So this is my genuine, unbiased review, and here's the spoiler. This one is really good. In fact, it's probably the fastest glow effect I've ever worked with, and it includes a few clever features I haven't seen anywhere else. Is it worthy the $50? Well, let's find out. We'll start by applying a glow to this composition that have several 3D elements, but as you can see, it's a little bit boring because it is missing the glow. So you can either go to Effects and Presets and under Element Supply Co, just apply the element glow, or my favorite method is to just pop in the quick apply and then look for element glow. And I'm going to hold down Command Option and then press return, which is going to apply it to an adjustment layer, also naming the adjustment layer accordingly. So these are the default settings. And as you can see, we have this glow selection, as well as a few menus, not too much, but there are plenty of options hiding in plain sight. So first, I probably want to just limit the area. Think about it almost like a threshold in the built-in glow, but with some clever controls here, which will allow you to basically define the input range, as you can see me doing over here. Now this interface can go down if you want to include less or more. It can also go up, so just drag those lines until you get something that you are hoping for. I'm actually going to make it a bit more condensed here on this side. Now, if I want, I can also click in the middle and start to drag the entire thing to the left to include or exclude the parts that I want to affect. I can also change the range mode, and I think in this case I'll go with saturation, which should give me a better result. And as you can see, this is really fast. Now I'm going to stick over here at the end and I'll enlarge the radius just so we can create this very, very soft glow behind everything, taking advantage of those blue colors. And then I will reduce the intensity just to make things a little bit more moderate and not too bright. I'll go through the other things in a moment. I just want to give you a quick overview of what you can do. Obviously, you can use the tint option here, which is going to rely on this tint gradient. And if you double click on one of those colors, you'll have this color picker. So you can pick and choose something different. Let's go with something like that to make it even more dramatic. Now, let's say that you also want to include some highlights for maybe the text here. Well, you can right click inside the glow selection and you can add additional range. And this is going to add another selection on the left side, which you can of course control. You can also click and drag on the left and the right box here, which will allow you to zoom into this interface. So maybe for this color, I'm just going to bring it back to something more brighter. And we can also just bring those handles a bit more closer, so we are actually focusing only on the desired area. I'll click again over here and start to drag back to the right. And I think that I'm really happy with it. So let's see how fast this works. First, let's go to the beginning, because obviously we need to tone down the intensity here. So I'll create a keyframe for the intensity and I'll just lower it down somewhere in the middle of this composition, I'll bring it back to the value that it was before, around 40. So I have this nice, bright, glowing colors around all the objects. Now I'll scrub it just to show how fast this works. Now, obviously, this is rendering all the 3D expensive layers underneath, but compared to other glows that I've worked with, especially the After Effects built-in one, this is almost real-time and it's just look gorgeous. Okay, let's explore a few more specific scenarios. For example, this artist working in the studio, I'll apply element glow to it and I'll switch from the luminance to the saturation mode, which is going to pop all the colors really bright. I'll play with the intensity. And to get the best out of this plugin, you probably want to set your project to 32 bits per channel. So I'll option click twice on this button and notice how nice and detailed the colors look now. So I have more range to play with. But I must tell you, it also works beautiful with 8 bits per channel. Next, we'll switch to this scene where I have a person working on his motorbike. And as you can see, we already have a lot of glow going on built into this image. But if I'll apply the element glow, which I did in this case, I'll turn on the FX so we can see it impact. And I set it in this case to the Hue range mode, which means that I can control the area that I want the glow to impact. I can shift this glow selection and have full control on the area that I want to glow. And again, notice how responsive and fast this is. Another option you have is to invert the glow. So with this clip of this violinist playing, I'll apply element glow, which is going to give us by default this result. And of course, we can play with the glow selection to just define where we want the glow to happen. But no matter what I'm doing, I'm actually getting too much glow in this case. So in these scenarios, you may want to try Invert Range, which is actually what I was hoping to get. I wanted more glow on these areas and not the outside areas. So hopefully you can see the difference. This is a huge thing, and I think I'm going to use this option quite often. Let's explore another scenario that you can use this invert method. So again, I already applied the element glow to these meters and I only want to glow the red areas here. So let's enable element glow, which is already applied to this clip. And notice that I set it to the Hue mode and I invert the range. So this is what most of the glows will give you, just an overall glow effect. But if we are flipping the glow selection or the glow map, we actually get the desired result. In this case, this is what I wanted. Now, there are a few other blending modes here that I didn't cover. For example, you have this add, screen, and normal mode, which is basically just adding the glow on top of other things. And probably this is not the best example to demonstrate it. This is why I have another composition for you. So this is what we have here. A tribute to the Hitchhiker Guide to the Galaxy. Let me know, by the way, in the comments if you want me to show you how I've created it with a single text object inside After Effects. So this is all made with built-in animators, but I want it to glow. So I already applied element glow to an adjustment layer. I'll click here to show you the default settings. Well, not exactly the default because I played with the tint gradient. And by the way, you have those banks here. So if you find something that you like, let's say this one, you can just right click and save it into this current location. So you can play with those colors. You can click to add another stop. And then obviously I modified the wrong thing. So I actually wanted to modify this one. And then every time you right click, you can save this. So you have those storing options here inside the effect. I'm going to revert back to this thing. And this is where you may want to play with those blending options. So this is the default, the add mode. This is screen, a little bit more toned down. This is normal, which is basically just going to overlay the glow. But in this case, because we are dealing with a text and we have an alpha channel, we can actually ask it to add the glow underneath the object, which is going to preserve all the original colors. So this is without the glow, and give us this really nice and majestic glow effect on top of this animation. I'll preview it quickly so we can see how this works. But at least normality has been restored. So to sum it up quickly, this glow simply shines, and I know the pun was unavoidable. But honestly, I think Element Glow is an excellent first release, and I love the glow selection graph, the different range modes, and the Gradient Tint feature is nothing short of a lifesaver. It looks great whether you're working in 8, 16 or 32 bits per channel, and the controls are refreshingly minimal, which makes this effect easy to understand and quick to dial in, and most importantly, it's ridiculously fast to render, and that's something every motion designer can appreciate. If I had just one criticism, it's probably going to be about the histogram controls that can occasionally feel a little bit fiddly, and sometimes you need to click on the timeline in order to refresh the render. But honestly, that's just a minor complaint, especially for version 1 product. Nothing is perfect. Just visit any of my previous tutorials. Now, depending on when you watch this video, there may still be an introductory discount available for the first couple of weeks. I've included a link in the description below if you like to check it out. And just to be clear, it's not an affiliated link, it's a simple, regular hyperlink helping you to get there faster than the speed of glow. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again in the next one.